You cannot worship what you cannot face. Okay, so the text we're looking at today starts with that line. And at first, it seems, it feels almost obvious, right?
It does. It feels completely intuitive. To connect with something, you have to look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then the very next sentence it pulls the rug out completely. It says, therefore, all worship is faceless.
It's a paradox, right, from the first two lines, and it really sets up this very challenging argument we're going to get into today.
It seems like the whole deep dive is going to be about why our instinct to define something, to give it a face, is the very thing that destroys it.
Or at least destroys our ability to truly, revere it. The text argues that the moment you can picture something or name it, you've turned it into an object.
An object, something my mind can hold.
Precisely. You've contained it. Think about it. If I can see you, I'm separate from you. If my mind can wrap around the concept of you, then in a way I'm bigger than the idea of you.
So is that why it says you can admire an object or, I don't know, idealize a hero, but you can't actually worship them?
That's the core of the argument. The text is so specific here. It says names invite ownership and forms invite control.
If you can define it, you own it.
You own it. And you can't worship what you own. Worship, according to this, it requires you to be the smaller one in the relationship. It demands a total reversal of that power dynamic.
Okay, this brings us to the part that, for me, felt a little aggressive. It uses the word idolatry. It says, when worship is given a face, it becomes idolatry. That's a strong word.
It is a strong word, but it's not talking about heresy in a religious sense. It's entirely psychological.
So not golden statues and things like that.
No, it's about projection. The text says faces invite projection. So if I give the infinite a face, even a kind, beautiful face, I'm basically just looking in a mirror. I'm projecting my own limits, my own ideas of what's good onto this vast unknown.
So I'm not bowing to something sacred. I'm bowing to a sketch that I drew myself.
And that's the trap. You've taken this incredible mystery and you've turned it into a manageable pet.
All right, so if faces are traps and names are just control mechanisms, then what's the alternative? This idea of faceless worship sounds so abstract. How do you relate to something you can't even picture?
The text suggests we need to shift from observation to alignment. It says, worship arises only where the mind cannot stand in front of its subject.
Meaning you can't be an audience member looking at the stage.
Exactly. You're on the stage. You're in the landscape. Think of gravity. You don't look at gravity.
Right. You align yourself with it. You live within its pull.
That's the idea. True worship is just acknowledging a reality so massive you can't get outside of it to see its face. All you can do is turn toward it.
And that's a key distinction here, isn't it? Looking at versus turning toward.
It's the whole takeaway. When worship loses its face, it becomes alignment. It stops being an intellectual project and becomes, an orientation. You're just pointing yourself toward something greater.
And this ties directly into silence, which the text mentions. It says, this is why the deepest reverence is quiet.
Well, it has to be, right? If words are for naming, and naming is for controlling, then silence is the only honest response to something that's uncontrollable.
Ah, still speech.
It does. If you're busy chatting about it or describing it, you're not in awe anymore. You're back in your head, analyzing.
It's almost like a test. If you can explain it, you haven't really touched it. You've just touched your own explanation.
And that's the without grasping idea it ends on. You have to turn toward it without grasping. And that's so hard for us. We're wired to grasp, to understand, to get it. This asks us to just be in it.
It's a move from the safety of a map to the vastness of the actual terrain.
That's where the awe is, not in the map.
So here's a thought for you to carry with you today. If our words and our definitions are just our attempts to control reality, what might you learn if you stop trying to name what matters most to you and just try to align with it instead? Thanks for deep diving with us.